So as we've been covering on this channel, Drake has been on a little tour, a little crash out tour. Some are saying where he's been on stage. This whole UK versus US rap battle thing that gave us one of the worst rap battles in the last couple of years started because of him, really, and the whole "I'm not a snake." So apparently that tour just got canceled. And I think isn't this the second time that he canceled one of his specifically was Australia tours because the Anita Max and then this one. All right, we got the number one Drake channel, fantastic hip hop here to do a story. Let's
Now,
get
when
it.
it comes to Drake, well, if you are ready to see how the
I
Drake
want to see. I want to see something. I want to see what's something's going on. People don't want to talk about it, and it's almost now. I'm getting fascinated at. It's almost fascinating to see the slide, right? It's because and I'm watching it. I'm not just ready to come out and be like, it's over for Drake because I don't think for as big as for the heights he reached, I don't think it'll ever be over. It just I don't think he'll ever reach certain heights that he had before. That was just my opinion, what I was thinking before, and I didn't even know if I was fully right in that. But it's starting to feel
A
like
Wish Foundation is
post
getting shut
battle.
down, and his current tour is already in big trouble right after just starting? Be sure to leave a like and subscribe, and now really, as after the mess and disaster that turned out to be the Anita Max Win Tour's strange issues which caused it to end abruptly, are now already
Two tours have ended abruptly. Now I did see somebody tweeting, and they said something about they're gonna just reschedule the shows. Have they been rescheduled? I waited to do this video because this has been happening for like a week. I waited to do this video to see if these shows got rescheduled or stuff like that. But it's just weird that the two tours that he was on post beef have gotten canceled or postponed and for reasons they say like, oh, it's for traveling issues. Like, so you made the same traveling mistake twice. And you gotta remember, Drake was on tour before he battled Kendrick. That tour didn't cancel. He walked that whole tour down and then did a battle. So it's
repeating on Drake's new set of loser link-up conventions, and that was just a few months ago? Well, things are seriously getting concerning for the 40-year-old man who wants to be called the boy, as now with Drake and Party Next Door's some special shows for you tour,
ain't no hater like fantastic hip hop on Drake, bro. I aspire to hate on to hate on my enemies like this, bro. Like I could never hate on Drake this much. But I think it's hilarious, and I get it because anybody who is at this level now after the lawsuits, I agree with because that's how I feel.
Well, now, just a few shows into this
I'm
thing,
not as much as fantastic hip hop for sure.
and in a time where Drake is trying to leave the boardrooms and at least give his fans the impression that he is getting back to work, whether it's with generic Central C collabs, or by just making hour-long videos where he is filming a chase scene with Pinocchio. Well, now,
another thing I said, because the two singles that he's dropped, the two main singles he's dropped since this battle, well, he's dropped so much music that has not stuck, that has not hit. The biggest thing he dropped, the main single he dropped, was Nokia, and I don't think it ever hit number one, and it slid down. And What Did I Miss? What charted even lower and slid even more. So I think we're watching
regardless of how we want to look at Drake, the one thing that
no
at least
seems
seems clear from all of these efforts he is making right now is that he is trying after all of.
And then this is what I also say too. I feel like the Drake stands are letting Drake down. Clearly, there's not the same amount of support that there was before because it doesn't. We're seeing this numerically. Drake is still the biggest stream artist, but I think the majority of those streams come from songs that were either post battle or pre battle. Basically, I don't know how much post battle stuff calculates for that. And let's not or battle and post battle. And let's not act like he hasn't dropped a lot of music with whether it's Wagwan Delilah, whether it's the song with that one DJ, Mazda or whatever, whether it's the song with Central C, whether it's the song with Sexy Red, whether he's dropped a lot of features and a lot of solo stuff the Playboy Cardi song that Cardi was supposed to be on.
Losing and
There's a
awful things that
lot.
he has done. Well, despite all of that, with his combination of new music coming out, content to annoy all of us with, and then shows which are trying to win back whatever people would still be willing to go to a Drake concert in 2025, well, Drake really is now trying to make this big effort to win back whoever he possibly can. And now when it comes to people supporting him and the remaining actual fans who would still want to go to an OVO Karaoke Fest, which they are out there, well, now for these people who just are obsessed with the most passive, pacifying, and mid-music ever, well, seemingly now Drake does not even want to keep these people around and really take proper care of the people who have really still stuck around with him no matter what. Because now with what
I'm like, when Fantastic Hip Hop does a video, I'm like, you ever see that, was it Key, when he was Obama's angry voice? He was the black angry voice of Obama. I'm like the opposite, where Fantastic Hip Hop is like the uber Drake hater, and then I filter it through somebody who just dislikes Drake's actions. And I filter it. So what I said when he said the passive music, it's just going back to saying where the music is not seeming to stick. And you got to understand, this is not because of Kendrick Lamar fans' fault. This would have to be Drake fans' fault because you're not streaming him the way you used to. Or maybe the fans that used to be Kendrick fans and Drake fans are now Drake. But if you think, I don't know if that's, I don't know, maybe there's such a big enough number. But like, we're still covering the music. We're still da-da-da. And it's just not impacting the way it was before. It's just not. So, and it's got to be even with the fans because the fans aren't pushing it. Niggas is too busy arguing on Twitter all day.
Still stuck around with him no matter what, because now with what Drake just did with less than a day before an upcoming show on this SSS for You tour was really one of the most baffling moves that I have seen in terms of just touring, especially in this time and in a lot of ways. Because to be honest, when we really look at what Drake did, this is one of the worst show cancellations that we have seen in quite a while, as now what has just come out is that Drake's concert, which was originally scheduled in Manchester for July 28th, has been canceled, and now the reason that the arena...
Traveling issues. Okay, like I said, let's give the benefit of the doubt. Let's say this is true. This would be the second time that traveling issues have made you cancel or push back or have scheduling issues with a tour. At this point, whoever is your tour manager needs to be fired and flogged, nigga. Like, if that's true, then did you hire new tour managers, more people to like, why do you keep doing traveling issues? What's wrong? Like, fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice. Nigga, you fired.
and Drake's representatives have...
And how do you not know? Bro, maybe I have a unique perspective in this because I've booked tours, bro. I've booked tours for myself. I've booked tours for other artists. I've gotten on tours with other artists. I've done this a lot. I've booked shows for artists. And I'm going to tell you something. You know a travel issue happens way in advance. There is and a person as big as Drake has a lot of checks and balances, I would assume, when it comes to booking something like a tour where you're making fans pay tickets. Because every time you push a show back, every time you cancel a show, every time you end a tour abruptly, you lose trust with the buyers. Because now, if I'm in Australia and it's the second time some shit, or I'm overseas, it's the second time some shit like this has happened, I'm more wary when a Drake date pops up. So this is whether you're pushing them back and you're still rescheduling them, that's still hurting your credibility when booking a tour. So it's like, weeks in advance, days in advance, at least that, oh, these two dates aren't going to make sense. Because what is traveling issues if not that? That's just starting to be like, what? I don't believe Drake's team is that incompetent. So I would have to believe this is a lie.
Even for this and I'm going to directly quote this, due to unforeseen ferry schedule and travel logistics, tomorrow's performance in Manchester on July 28th
Who is booking
scheduled,
this?
and now with
These
this.
tours.
Well, now, while maybe if there were some traveling issues and Drake was in another city or area and this was all happening, it could make sense on why this show would not be going down. Well, now in spite of this, as you can literally see for yourself, that when we look at the logistics of this tour, Drake has literally been in Manchester for the past few days, as he did shows here on the 25th and then also the 26th. Well, then how can there possibly be travel issues that you and your team could not figure out some sort of a solution for? Because this just does not make sense. Because really, the amount of people that Drake is responsible for getting to this show, considering that the shows are at the same arenas they have been at, is in terms of one of the most hectic parts of the music business in tour.
Damn, this nigga Fantastic Hip Hop did his little research. I didn't even know so you were physically what? Is that true? Is that true?
one of the most simplest things to do.
This
because
is
your crew is still
fascinating at
getting
this
a rest
point.
because the stage remains.
Because I low-key feel like we are watching. Like, I was alive during the whole 50 Cent Ja Rule thing. People forget how big Ja Rule was and how much 50 Cent hurt his brand. But it seemed more of like a quicker digression for Ja. It felt like quicker and like you could see it, but not even. Actually, no, I'm wrong. It was quicker socially, but it didn't feel like it. Like, because we weren't all so tapped into streaming numbers and sales and ticket sales and as we are now. The average consumer or hip hop fan is a bit more educated to the behind the scenes stuff than we were in the early 2000s, the late 90s type shit. Now, this is the first time I feel like we are watching somebody whose brand has been detrimentally affected, but he is so big that he has the power to make it look like it hasn't been. And I wonder, does that last, and then eventually one day it all just you show it, or it's weird to me because it's like. So if you said that you were in
up and there's nothing they have to do in terms of building it and taking it apart, which is one of the worst and most time-constraining things about touring. And pretty much when then you just realize that the artists and the team who actually goes through with all of the other behind-the-scenes things of the show had to be there and everything else was already sorted out. All of this just doesn't make sense, and it does not add up once again. And just like the weird cancellation of the Anita Max Wind Tour shows, really with the way touring works and with how carefully they plan out these events, especially with such high-profile names like Drake.
That's what I'm saying, bro. You cannot believe he is the big, like, if you're like the OVO MAGA and you OVO stand, like you in it like a MAGA person, then you believe that Drake is the biggest artist in the world, correct? Right? And you still believe that currently he is. So if the biggest artist in the world is having logistic traveling issues on tour twice, that doesn't make. That's a level of for that to be true. It's a level of incompetence that I can't believe is true. It would be a level of incompetence that I don't believe that y'all have been managing him his whole career up until this point, and then just all of a sudden, well, I don't know how to book a tour anymore. What happened? Like, if I'm Drake and the second tour gets pushed back or postponed because of traveling logistics, oh, I need 5 minutes with my tour manager. Come here, bro. Move my meat, because no matter if you reschedule the shows, bro, the fans who pay this money are not. What if they got a babysitter that day? Huh? What, like, it's a little inconsiderate to think you could do that twice, and just like, what if there's regular people have to make concessions to do this? So it's like, bruh, I got this day off, you know, I got this person to watch, I got this permission to go on this day. And I can't just reschedule it, nigga, just because you can't.
You don't just cancel a show within this way unless something sudden happened. And now, as Drake is still clearly chilling and being his lame old self, as we have been able to see, as he's still making TikToks, being seen in public, listening to music, and making cringe videos for Drake, which Drake has really been embarrassing himself more than ever with. Well, no, with all of this, suddenly what we are seeing is that there is clearly nothing personal that changed Drake's plan. So suddenly, and really understanding that, it only leaves us with 2 more potential reasons for why this show could have been canceled. Which now, if this ending was like the Anita Max Wind Tour's end, well, that would be over low ticket sales seemingly. And now, as they did give similar reasoning, all in terms of trying to use this idea of travel issues and logistics for the reasoning of why these shows were not going to happen. Although, of course, again, when we look at this in reality,
I don't know what to believe with the low ticket sales thing too. I literally don't know what to believe anymore, because if I see something, especially on Twitter, I've gotten to the point where I'm more akin to not believe it. Like, I need to see it off of that platform and off accounts that have nothing to do with Drake or Kendrick for me to really judge it now. Because, like, figure out how many bots be on Twitter and stuff like that, you can't trust anything you see, my nigga. So it's like, I don't know if low ticket sales makes way more sense than I forgot how to book a tour twice. So, but I don't know.
The shows were planned out for months and months, and all of these things, including a travel itinerary, were established before these things were even announced. Well, again, that just cannot make sense within almost any way you try to put it. And now, with how these shows seem to look, and now by how many people were supposed to go to this show and are just mad at Drake, which you can see online, these people are seriously mad as Drake has ruined their plan.
That's what I'm saying.
Well, overall, with just seeing...
That's what I'm saying. The people who take the brunt of it are the fans. At the end of the day, rescheduling is not especially when you're this big and you're doing big shows, rescheduling, bro, is not good. It's not good. It's just better than canceling, but not by much, because there are people who bought tickets who will now, you might as well have canceled it because they can't go. You know what I mean? And that's the percentage of those people is probably higher than you think. Niggas just wasted or maybe they got their money back, but still, like,
all the backlash Drake is getting for these people who took off work.
And right now, when your brand is not looking as good as it was, I wouldn't do this, bro, because you gonna mess around and turn around the real fans that you got who are still supporting you.
And made their schedules to travel here to see this show at this very moment, and now it has messed them all up.
Exactly.
To be honest with this, I don't think that ticket sales are the reason. And now, really, with this,
look,
which
Fantastic Hip Hop being real too. Okay.
Actuality, we are seeing such a direct and short notice of a cancellation, which is now messing up real people's schedules, lives, and even pockets, because people come out to these places, get hotels, travel, and all of that, and now you did it all for nothing.
Like you're getting hotels, like you're traveling to the city. Golly, nah, like. You're getting not just hotels. Think about the rentals. You feel me? Think of the outfit. You know you got your outfit before the show. Come on, bro.
Well, ultimately, what you just have to wonder now and really start to think is seriously up with Drake. Because really, let's just say the show is filling up and a lot of people were going. Why would you do this with no good reason, which has become clear that there really wasn't, and the answer we have gotten is complete and utter lies? Really, when you just think about this a little more, it really does ultimately expose Drake's biggest problem as a whole and why he has really been one of the worst things that we have seen in terms of a star for both music and, more importantly, hip-hop ever. And now what I mean by this and why Drake ultimately canceled this show. Because this guy is just straight up lazy and really does not care about anything other than himself and this little petty bubble that he exists within. Because honestly, with Drake just putting off this show and then other shows are getting rescheduled and you are just sinking your own tour for no apparent reason, this truly does just seem like a commitment issue at this point. And like, are you doing this out of straight laziness? Because for a guy like Drake, who has already been in this city and all you do is flex so you can get anything open at any time and how you have all these private jets and stuff like that, how all of a sudden is an issue with a ferry that people are still traveling around and getting to the show regardless of what's on your end the real reason that is stopping you and the people who need to be at the show from getting to the arena to...
I think it's the most level-headed take he's had about Drake on something, because he had a chance to just go, it's because nobody's buying his tickets. He could have done that, but him saying that is real. Like, yeah, I don't think it is. There's something else, and I think it's something super sinister. I think it's not sinister like he's doing a crime, but like sinister like there is a way more damage to his brand than he's even letting off. I don't believe you cancel 2 of these because of laziness. I don't believe you let your fans down twice because of laziness. That's why I believe that low ticket sales things, I would have to more than incompetence. I don't know what it is, but I think he's not liking the looks. So y'all can figure out what the rest of the Fantastic Hip Hop videos, like 3 more minutes. Yeah, you tell me why you think he's been canceling these shows and these singles aren't sticking. Did Kenny really? I don't know.